Welcome to Witch to Take, Office of Fortune Teller, Shaman, Folk Artist with Christina Lisa, and a little reading with Mademoiselle Marie and Adelaide Lenormand, also known as the Gypsy Oracle, and we are working with a deck published by Lo Scarabeo Gypsy Oracle cards. So there you can see all the different ways we say Gypsy Oracle. Gypsy Oracle cards open the door to good fortune, it says up there. And then Sibilla de la Zingara and Sibylle de la Bohemian, pardon my pronunciation, we are learning. And that reminds me that came up in our meditation before the reading, is that tarot, the purpose of tarot is to teach. And so this reading is for fun and games, shits and giggles, entertainment, flexing our heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, emotions, intuition. At the least, we hope to cause harm to none. At the most, we hope we may assist you on your healing path. That being said, we are not a doctor, lawyer, therapist. We are no substitute for their services, so please thank you for using your gifts of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away, adopting as your own. And yes, this reading is got 3 parts. It has 3 parts: pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. So there may be timestamps you can see in the description. God willing, that gets there eventually, sooner rather than later. And we began working with these cards, and Mademoiselle Lenormand, I don't know, 2016, 2017. And so now we're sharing with you. And thank you so much for joining us in this little session as we check out what happens if we are choosing peace, pile number 1. If we are choosing negotiation, pile number 2. Or if we are choosing war, pile number 3. And so maybe you're drawn to 1 pile, 2 piles, all 3 piles. Maybe you change the channel. That's all right. Thank you for honoring you. We are all different psychosociology experiments, and what resonates for one may not for another. So thank you for honoring yourself and what is for you at this time as you and your life keep changing here, there, and into the beyond. And so we also picked up on during our meditation before we came in to share this reading with you, taboo and truth, those 2 words, and also the blood, which is Rakta Kali. Rakti Kali is the red blood in all of us. And so perhaps those bits and pieces mean something to you, on top of understanding the purpose of tarot is to teach. And these cards make it very evident that the purpose of tarot is to teach, because they are flashcards to learn different languages. There's 5 different languages on each card. There's English, Spanish, Italian, it looks like French and Russian. And so we're learning. Life is for learning. And we keep throwing on the card the table that says nobody's perfect. Life's for learning to tolerate, starting with self. Careful to avoid that card's flip side. She'll never learn. Off with the head. You know, these choices that we have, like, we don't envy anyone or want to be in anyone else's shoes. We are all different psychosociology experiments. And so, you don't want to cast blame or shame, scapegoat, or trash anyone. Now that we are immersed in a state of adoption spirit magic, now that we have shuffled into a high state of adoption. So yeah, let's see let's see how we do. Let's see how we're doing. And so if you are staying for pile number 1, we got Lord and Lover. And that's so interesting. As I was looking at the Lord card, I thought of love. I love switching out love for Lord. You know, all the places Lord shows up. And as I am looking at this Lord card, let's see, this is Gran Signore, Gran Signor, Gentilum. Oh my God, pardon my French, that was my French. And then however you say that. Do you see the Russian in the bottom right corner? So beautiful. And then the next card that came up for this pile number 1, if you chose peace or choosing peace, was Lover. And pardon me. And so I thought that was funny. Mademoiselle Lenormand bringing us that after it was just occurring to us how we switch out Lord and love for Lord, and then Lover came up. And so Lover, this is amante in both Italian and Spanish, and then amant in French, and then however you say that word in Russian. Hopefully this is focusing and you can see the bottom right corner. And so if you are choosing peace, Lord and Lover, you may be experiencing variations of those, whether you are feeling connected to the higher ups in your life on this planet, or your God, however you call God. The yellow boots are standing out to me, and his yellow bloomers, as I see that, the yellow bloomers. So yellow may have some significance to you. Also, the color, it's the color of gold. And also our yellow belly that sort of drives, pardon me, drives us. Is our Manipura, our belly chakra, is that connected with Aries energy? Oh no, that's Leo energy. Maybe it's both. You can leave a note in the comment if you're like saying the answer at the computer on your side. Thank you very much. And also for your grace. Thank you for your grace with our mistakes we make. We're only human. And mistake making is part of the point. That's how we learn. So we are learning to be more tolerant of our own mistake making. So thank you for joining us in that endeavor. If that sounds like fun. So what else about these cards? The horse, it's the year of the horse. Here's the horse here. The horse rune is coming up in a few days on Tuesday. Oh no, I'm incorrect. The horse is now. The horse rune is now. And this is covering the hours from 6:30 to 7:29 in the morning. So that may be a time for you that's helping you move from here to there in some way, shape, or form. Also, the dates, the Ehwaz rune, the horse rune, started on the 30th of March, if I recall correct, and ends on the 13th of April. So that's just coming to a close. So you may have experienced some shifts, some emotion, some change, moving to something new, maybe new friendships, maybe new projects, journeys, all the different ways we marry each other. Maybe there's a marriage, maybe there's a promotion, maybe there's just devotion. You're just loving life and feeling so loyal and so so trusting. You trust, right? You trust. You made this decision, and perhaps God is backing you up. You're really feeling that connection. You're really feeling that cosmic law of divine oneness, that you are walking your talk and choosing peace, and you're feeling that peace. You're feeling connected to your Lord. It feels like love. Maybe you're playing stringed instruments and expressing your love for your Lord in that way. All the different ways that this could play out if you are choosing peace. And I don't know in this deck if there is a lady card. That's interesting. And because I was going to say, well, this isn't gender specific. You can, how this resonates with you, the Lord and the lover. And so that's sweet. The Lord has some extra support. What is this extra support? A staff? Does it look like he has a fencing sword or a regular sword? He's got a feather in his cap, a hat, a dicky. He's got his lace collar, the dicky. Isn't that what they call the lace collar? So, peace. Peace looks like enjoying the moment. You've chosen peace, and now you can enjoy the moment and love life and love your Lord, whoever that is for you, the God inside of yourself, perhaps. All the different ways. We're all different psychosociology experiments, and so everybody has their own experience of God, I imagine, and what a beautiful thing to behold in this state of peace that you are able to tap into that. Congratulations. We are so happy for you. And that is what we are seeing for POW 1. And also the numbers 11, the sign of Virgo, the North Node, which is in Aries, the first decan of Aries, may help you integrate the different bits and pieces to make this piece a reality, to keep this piece a reality. And 11, it's that number that assists with the boundary issue that initiated our boundary issues. So glory be. That's beautiful. And then number 1 is a number that initiates and begins. It invokes our creator, however you call your creator. So beautiful. And Virgo, daily routines that keep us happy and healthy. Now that we are choosing to flip over the fighting spirit card and play through loss with adoption spirit instead, what do you do in a day to maintain that health? And maybe some routines shift, maybe others stay the same. I don't know. Everybody's a different psychosociology experiment. So Virgo may assist you with that, and also just honoring that nobody's perfect. Life's for learning to tolerate, starting with self, and to be really careful with the tricky flip side that says she'll never learn, off with the head. Just to be so gentle with ourselves, and perhaps those cards help. So thank you, pile 1 and pile 2. Doctor, death. Well, isn't this interesting? And maybe not a literal doctor, maybe not a literal death, or perhaps. And not to alarm, our readings are more to affirm what you are onto already and to offer assistance in moving forward in the highest love and light. And so, if that's not happening, you may feel free to choose another channel. And it's also occurring to share that with these cards that you are always free to change your mind. You've made a decision, and then all of a sudden you're like, or maybe not all of a sudden, you decide, wow, I wish I could make a different decision. Well, maybe you can. And so that death card, it's such a transition, like the trees, the deciduous trees in the fall, they lose their leaves. It's like death. They show us that cosmic law of transmutation of energy so beautifully. The seasons illustrate that as well, and different ways we can understand death in a more subtle, gentle way. And death, muerte, muerte, mort, and then however you say that word in Russian in the bottom right corner. Hope you can see that. And this, there's also a scythe in this image. There could be a sudden ending and beginning. People have already passed away, God bless it, and us all. That was part of their agreement before they came to planet Earth. They don't want us to seek any sort of revenge for this or feel any sort of guilt or shame. They understand they made a choice, a certain choice to sign up during this lifetime, to take on this role and to go down that path. And maybe some weren't as conscious of that agreement as others, as that's sort of how free will plays out on planet Earth, on Mother Earth. And may those who crossed over be comforted, and those of us left behind also be comforted. Grief is one of these cards we get dealt with each loss, and in a high state of adoption, immersed in adoption spirit magic, we are coming to grips with the fact that we dance with this for life. This is a life sentence, that grief. And I am seeing that we are learning more how to play through that loss without hurting ourselves and others. And maybe that's surprising to some of us. Maybe there's this sudden shift of how we see health. And this other card is doctor. And maybe, you see, he's taking her pulse. Like maybe we've decided we've changed our mind all of a sudden. We went in negotiating and all of a sudden we changed our mind, like something happened. Doctor, dottori, doctor, doctor, however you say that in Russian. Look at those beautiful words. So fun. And Dr. Death. Maybe it's not funny, I know, right? Because there's high stakes, right? Our youth, right? And our families, and we want to ensure every student succeeds, even the ones growing old, acting out the amygdala, the grief struck by loss, possessed by amygdala, authorizing cycles of fear, fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn. God bless it, and us all. And perhaps we're changing our mind about that. And in ways on both sides of the fence that we couldn't even imagine. Really transformative. And feeling blessed that those of us still here on planet Earth, are being presented an opportunity to play through in a totally different way for the rest of our existence on planet Earth. And that could be quite thrilling. And this looks like a house. This doctor, he's in a house doctor. Maybe this is a way of life where each home is just more like a spa where we are able to treat our losses in such sweet and tender ways. We all become our own most blessed doctor. Of course, that's not to diminish or put aside the value of official doctors that have gone through training in certain certain areas like, maybe pediatrician or so on and so forth, right? So we can be more comfortable. Look, she's at home, the doctor's there, she's able to sit in this chair and be comfortable. Her flowers are there, she's got a beautiful surroundings that keep her cozy and comfortable. And maybe, there's some movement on the other side, like the doctor, well, he's making a house call. He's having to go here and there. He doesn't get to work from his house in this situation. Perhaps. Maybe you're seeing something different. And so if you are choosing negotiation, perhaps you can expect some great changes. And I'm hesitating because I'm trying not to use the word great or good or any of its derivatives. And there I just used it. And also, I'm trying not to use the word will or gonna, and I just used it. So, all in an effort to respell, to be more conscientious about our spelling, right? Our words, they are actual spells. What we say, what comes out of our mouth, they're actual spells. And so to be more effective in your spell work and what you say to help dream weave, you learn to use more relevant, specific words. And good and bad, we've learned in a high state of adoption, they don't serve us so effectively. And so we try to choose more specific adjectives, relevant adjectives. And so negotiation, and maybe that's part of the negotiation, choosing more specific words, like to be able to describe your loss so you may heal. You find the people you trust, all the different practitioners out there, from the Western doctors to the Eastern Ayurveda or Reiki. There's so many different ways we can approach our loss, and each person's different, so they get to choose, God willing. They're in a position where they may choose. And let's see, pardon my nails, I'm just noticing some little nail issues. If you have been worried and biting your nails, maybe that changes during these negotiations, and suddenly you just don't feel that need. You feel soothed at what's happening, at the shift that's happening, even though in some ways it feels like life has ended. Life as we know it has ended, but there is this soothing. Your heart is still beating. You're able to converse with people you trust and heal. And Chiron, the wounded healer, is coming to me. So that may be interesting to explore a little trip with Chiron, the wounded healer. He was adopted by Apollo, and unlike all the other centaurs, he was a centaur. Unlike all the other centaurs who were fighting, he said, nah, I prefer to channel healing. And he holed up at the bottom of Mount Olympus in a cave and offered individualized healing treatments to whoever. And so one version of the story goes anyhow, right? And Chiron associated with the hand, and chiropractic comes from the name chiropractic comes from his name, and also unconventional marriages. Right? Each person is a different psychosociology experiment. And so now, with social contracts shifting all around the world and becoming more equitable and dignified, people are able to choose whoever they want for whatever reasons they want. And often, I mean, who knows? Everybody has a different psychosociology experiment, right? So each person would have to tell you their own bit, but in general, just knowing that there's options, as long as you can talk to your person about it, who cares? And what the deal is and who each person is and how you're going to move forward, as long as nobody's getting hurt, right? And so, well, that went all over the place. Thank you. Now, pile 2, choosing, pardon me, choosing negotiations. What else? The colors orange, your Svadhisthana, your sacral chakra, may be calling for some extra love, whether you're listening to sound healing or sitting in an orange light like we are in this reading. We have an orange light on. And then blue, your throat chakra is turquoise. Your Visuddha, your throat chakra, that it's that turquoise blue variations. And your Ajna, your third eye chakra, is a dark indigo. So maybe these blues assist you in your negotiation or help flex it out. In green, your heart, and bridging between the lower chakras, the magnetic lower chakras, and the upper electric chakras. Green being that bridge, that green carpet, like your magic carpet. Maybe you're taking time on your magic carpet, saying your prayers a couple times a day or once a day, or maybe you're taking it with you in different places and saying your prayers on your magic carpet and having fun with that to help play through wherever you are. And so that is what I'm seeing for pile 2, choosing negotiation, what you may anticipate or maybe comes out as a result of choosing negotiation. There'll be this major transformation in health and seen in a whole new way. Health and wealth seen in a whole new way. It sounds like a high state of adoption, even though it looks like a little scary with death there. But I mean, if you could accept that shift, stepping into a high state of adoption, perhaps that's worth it. Like, it's a sacrifice. You are willing, your free will, like, I can make that sacrifice of my own free will to do adoption differently. And to some, they'd be like, no, I can't change. I need to adopt right now, however it is. And it would feel very difficult for them to put an end to that and start something new, find a new way of health other than adopting an emotional support person, place, or thing. Maybe some just are ready to let that go and to pick up their emotional baggage and carry it themselves, to work it themselves, to learn how to play through that loss for life. Because that grief, it's with us for life. And pardon me, to honor that in super sweet ways. So that's interesting negotiation pile. Quite thrilling. So brave and avant-garde to do things in such a new way and consider the possibilities of what happens when you stand up for yourself in ways that other people can hear you, when you practice that nonviolent communication. Marshall Rosenberg, nonviolent communication, may be interesting to check out if you haven't already in the in-between moments during the wait time of these negotiations. Also, being prepared for the wait time in the negotiations. So if you're not into looking at nonviolent communication with Marshall, you've already done that. Maybe you are just prepared with something else that there's going to be some wait time, and that's cool because, all the songs about wait time, you could listen to your playlist or read a different book. Quite thrilling. So thrilling. Such powerful people stepping up, stepping into their power, asking for what they need. Basic human rights. And that change coming through. That change is happening. Change being the support of stability. Congratulations. And that's all we are seeing for you, pile 2, and now pile 3. If you chose war, well, we have wife was the card that I first saw when these came out. And this is Mowgli, Mujer, Espouse, and that looks like Zina, but it can't. Is that really Zina? Oh my God, I wish I could speak Russian. In the bottom right corner. How do you say it? I have to Google it. So wife came out, and I see she's looking out the window. Her child's in her lap. She's by herself. She's got a letter in her hand. There's, kid's got one shoe on, one shoe off. There's a boat in the different distance. Some people are appearing to be like they have it all. Like, ships are coming in. Got my kid, but if you've been there in some way, shape, or form, like, oh my God, no, one shoe's on, one shoe's off. Oh my God, I got a letter in my hand, but there's not anybody holding my hand except for this child who needs me to put on their shoe. Oh my God. That feeling when you're alone. And prison was the other card that came out. And the red coat. Funny, right? Red coat. He's wearing a red coat. The red coats are coming. The red coats are coming. Remember that? Prigione. Prigione. Prisione. Prision. Prison. And then however you say that in Russian. Look how beautiful those letters are. So, prison. He's chained. He's got some water. He's got a bench. He's got shelter. But look, he's held in. And he's got his head in his hands. He's not very happy about it. Or he's in deep thought. but he looks like dispiacere, chagrin, it looks like. And so if you've chosen war, God bless it and us all. There may be some challenging feelings, some challenging emotions. Emotions are like water. There's water in this picture with the wife, this card with the wife. And in one way, this is showing the cosmic law of oneness, like oceans. They tap into that law of divine oneness. We all can tap into the ocean in some way, shape, or form for the most part, right? And we all know the ocean, and so that brings us together. And so in one way, you've chosen war and you're all together with your people, but in another way, you're alone, imprisoned in one way or another. And you know, spiritualists offer that we, as long as we draw breath into our body, are in a position to change our mind. And right, so like if you don't believe in mediumship and then all of a sudden you get all these downloads and all this evidence shows up that leads you to wow, reconsider your position, you're allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to change your mind. And some people would venture to say that our life on earth, part of it is to sample everything. And I mean, you know, not literally everything. I mean, maybe somebody says they want that and they try, but maybe, I don't know who that is. But you get the drift. We sign up to come to Earth to sample, like a buffet, all the experiences. And so, look, you have sampled this experience and now you know. And you know it from every angle, inside and out. From choosing it before you got into it, to getting into it, and then ending up in these positions where you feel bound. Perhaps you are literally bound. God bless it and us all. And in the way that, you know, if we did come here to sample, well, awesome. You've sampled it. You can check that off the list. You can check that off the list, and God willing, move to the next choice and choose something different. And not to simplify or minimize, obviously there's a lot involved here, and you know how to go about this in a way that keeps your honor intact and everyone else around you, right? And what else am I getting? If you can hydrate, fresh water may assist during these times. If you enjoy practicing Reiki and Reiki-ing your water, may assist at this time. Whether you're Reiki-ing your own water that's going into your body, or during your wash routines, or you are giving love to the water in the ocean, or the lakes, or the ponds, or the rivers around you, perhaps that is something that may assist you during this time. Tapping into all the different water treatments. And then these colors, red and blue, just grounding in the experience understanding it in your Muladhara, your root chakra, and your third eye, your ajna, your third eye chakra, your ajna, and maybe some of that vocalizing in your Visuddha, your throat chakra, being patient with yourself as you learn how to talk about things, perhaps in a new way. This child is wearing that light blue that shows up in the Visuddha, the throat chakra, and so you may feel a bit like a child learning how to speak again in certain ways in this new place that you are in, that you are sampling. And so you may appreciate Reiki in your face. Holding your hands on your face may offer you tremendous relief and miracles beyond belief, like your faith may make you whole in ways you are just astounded at. And also he has his ankles crossed, working on your ankles, rubbing your ankles. That's a joy point, also a Christ point, to help manage your self as you are experiencing this buffet. And to help push through any blocks or stagnation, blocked energy or stagnant energy or soreness, just to be gentle with yourself, to be so gentle with yourself. And again, I want to say here, this is not gender specific, even though you see a man in the prison and the wife. It's in this card showing as a female, but I think this can apply across all the different ways we identify, and so if you've chosen war and now you're in it, these are some of the pieces that are playing out that you are noticing, and perhaps knowing that you are checking that off the list. Maybe you may rest in that, and that helps make it easier, knowing that you are welcome to change your mind in most cases, God willing, right? With your integrity intact. We maintain our integrity by maintaining our boundaries. And you see, his boundaries are, someone else is in charge of his boundaries now. And she's lost focus from focusing on her. She's lost focus from her boundaries and her child's boundaries. That letter in her hand, child with one shoe on, one shoe off. I mean, this was supposed to feel wonderful and put a roof over our heads, but why are we feeling this way? It is the feeling I'm getting from looking at her and her child, and all the, if you've studied history, U.S. history, world history, all the different places, K-12 in the U.S. curriculum, that this history shows up, and now being able to experience that on your own, that is quite something. And to be able to, he's still looking pretty healthy. She's still looking pretty healthy. And so to be in this place where, okay, if you made a decision and you have the ability to change your mind because you decided, wow, this isn't really what we thought it would be. This doesn't feel correct for us anymore. Perhaps there's an opportunity to change your mind. And if that's not what you want to do, you don't want to change your mind, you did it, and this is what you signed up for, you know, that's got to be correct as well, right? Because you chose it, right? Can't tell you that you're wrong if that's what you're thinking, if that's where you're going and that's how you're feeling, but I see soul. I see the child in your heart. I see the child in your family's heart. I see your soul. And so, in that aspect, I just want to honor you and your choices and offer that perhaps you don't have to suffer. Perhaps that's not necessary. Maybe that's not just the way life is. That, we make this sacrifice and then we suffer and then we die. Perhaps that's not just how it is. Perhaps we can choose something different. And again, everybody's a different psychosociology experiment. What resonates for one may not for another. And you gotta honor what's true to you. And only you know what is correct for you and how to honor that in the highest love and light. And so if you have chosen war and you are in that position, we are sending you so much love and light, however you care to receive that. And if you don't care to receive that, we respect that as well. And we ask if we may save that with your source and your higher self, just in case you change your mind. It's there for you. And if not, we totally get it, right? Everybody is a different psychosociology experiment, and what resonates for one may not for another. And all the different people, everybody's got a different view of why they're here and what they're doing. And we want to help every student succeed, even the ones who are growing out of school, K-12 school, and moving on through their life, because we're lifelong learners, right? Even after death, some would say, if lifelong living, if if life goes on after death, then lifelong living just got really long. And so to honor all involved. So let's see what else. I think that is all I am picking up on for this reading. Thank you so much for playing with yourself, your cards, for steering clear of danger, for taking such sweet care of yourself, and whichever way you choose to go, may you trust 7 days a week. You are loved. Ciao for now. We love you all.